Good morning, everybody. Already my throat is going. Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea. Sometimes I'm known as Drea. So welcome and thank you for being here with me today. I am a sound healer, sound bar facilitator. I also have a background in community justice and working with people who have struggled in life and have come from difficult backgrounds. So I spent 20 years doing that, so I have quite a vast experience of working with people. But I've also always been interested in sound from a young age, so it was kind of a natural progression that I should look at how I could use sound as a method or a way of healing. So I'll be talking a little bit about that this morning. um, so part of my talk will be about the power of sound and how specifically it's helped me on my healing journey and just returning to love, the love within, and also to talk about how sound can support you. So I'll talk a lot about sort of my history, my background, and some of my journey with sound, and hopefully there'll be some nuggets in there that you can take away in terms of how you might use music in a way, not just music, but music and sound as a way to stay in the present moment, as a way to return to that love within you, and as a way just to ground yourself at times, because these days there's so much going on in the world, it can be so challenging. So just to have a look at how might we use sound in a kind of therapeutic type of way. So I welcome any questions, thoughts and reflections throughout, so please just chip in at any point. I'll be happy to hear from you. Because I just don't want it to be me just talking. So please do. And maybe towards the end, we could maybe do a chant together, and we'll see how that goes. So the history of sound healing. So we hear about sound healing and it's become a lot more popular these days, actually. But actually, it's not anything new. It is something that has been around for thousands of years across cultures. I think sound is a sacred tool and it has so many powerful benefits for our well-being, for our spiritual journey. So sound can connect us, I think, to our intuition. And I feel like that's what it's done for me, because usually in the past I've been completely in my head. So and logic, and I always wanted a logical answer to everything. So sound has helped me to tap more into that kind of intuition and heart space, because before everything was like, I want an answer, I want to know how this works, I want to know how this works. But now I'm able to kind of really allow myself to tap into, how does that feel? How does that feel? Which is a very different experience. So it also, I would say, has connected me to the mysteries of life. So coming from a very religious background and really not thinking about the mysteries of life, because I was always kind of told this is what you should believe, this is what you should do. Sound and meditation has allowed me to really tap into, what is it that I actually believe? What is it that spirit is telling me? Um, and to really tap into the mysteries of that. And I have found it personally to be a really, truly beautiful experience. I do still like logic as well, so I do like to kind of tap in a little bit now and again to the science. Not that I always fully understand it. I do like to know about the science as well, but I really am looking more at, how do I feel about this? How do I really get into the mysteries of sound? How do I really tap into, what is this actually doing to my body? Um, so sound has also been used by Indigenous peoples within traditional ceremonies, rituals, celebrations. And in actual fact, in some cultures, sound is just a part of their daily living. So it's not just a means of celebration. You know, they'll be singing, dancing just to wash the dishes, which now I've got into, But, it's just a part of their everyday life. So I believe sound has the potential to connect us, not only to ourselves but beyond, to nature, to the divine. Everything has vibration, so everything. And I also think sound has the power to unite us, and really bring us back to our true nature. if we know how to use it and if we know what is happening when we kind of connect with sound in that way. So has anyone got any questions or any experiences about sound that they've had or music that they'd like to share at this point? Please do chip in.
Hello. Um, yeah, actually, I absolutely love the idea of, well, I love the idea of sound baths. So, about a year ago, I
Yeah,
bought loads of, like literally 5 beautiful bowls,
amazing.
and I just loved them. And I went away for the weekend,
Yeah.
and when I came back, my big picture over my fireplace had fallen off and smashed every single one of them.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was absolutely devastated because I was getting so much from them just on my own, just in my living room.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness, every single one smashed. So that's why I'm so excited for this, because I haven't kind of experienced it for a while.
Yeah, wow. And I think as well, the bowls are amazing. They are, and hopefully you'll get another set at some point. Or,
Oh,
and you know, I know they're very expensive though, but you can easily get one. Even one can be really good. But do you
yes.
know what? One of the most powerful sound that we can use is our own voice. And I know people find that really difficult to do because not everyone's happy with their voice for whatever reason. But sounds through our voice, because our voice is one of our most powerful sound tools, really, really does give that opportunity to connect to ourselves without any tool as such, without anything. So even just humming, using sound intentionally, finding a song that really resonates with you and really just sitting with it, um, really can be powerful. And I wasn't going to bring this in now, but I had a few sessions a few years ago with sound therapist, and part of the sessions were finding a piece of music that really resonated and allowing that to be an inner resource. And then what you would do from that piece of music was create a piece of art. Now, I can't draw to save my life. And you'd use that piece of music to create a piece of art. And then you'd reflect on that piece of art and a piece of music. And I had quite a number of sessions, and it was, and you know, he said you can use it anytime, and it was a compassionate practice that he was developing, and it was such a powerful way to intentionally connect with sound just through choosing a piece of music that really I felt would be a resource to myself. So there are so many
Oh
ways
my God, that is
we can use
so, that
sound.
literally, I got goosebumps when you said that, because
Yeah,
it's out of our daily functioning, isn't it? And it is,
absolutely.
and when you said that, I just thought, oh my God, I really want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You must. And if you want
Yeah.
any tips or anything, just let me know. I'll send them to you afterwards. But yeah, it was such a powerful thing, and I still use it now. And yeah, he's a professional sound therapist, but he said these are practices that you can use sort of any time just to in a resource, and just to really check in with yourself, because it isn't just about checking in with ourselves and going into that inner world and really seeing how we're feeling and seeing what resources we have within. And some of the time, it was even just simply reflecting on the people in my life that have been supportive and how I might use that more often, because sometimes we can get so isolated in our own little world. But
Yeah.
it was a powerful way of just connecting with all of that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we get stuck in our head. So that way, even if you're not, don't feel like you're artistic, that really resonates with me, actually. Definitely going to
Yeah.
do that.
So, yeah,
Thank
get
you for
some
that.
pens, pencils, paint, whatever you need,
Yeah.
and some music. And really, that's just a suggestion as a
Yeah.
way of,
Yeah. No, I
you
can
know,
see that's
until you
powerful.
get some new bowls, or you can still use both. I use them all.
Oh God. Oh,
So, in terms of my personal sound healing journey, thank you, Katie, so much for sharing that. So, I've always had a sense of the power of sound since childhood. I didn't have the best childhood. It was quite volatile in terms of the environment I was in, and it was a lot of the time I was completely felt dysregulated, and it was difficult. So at the time I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was often using sound to self-soothe and just express my inner world. Um, a lot of the culture I come from, it's sort of, you can't really talk about what's going on. So I didn't have an outlet, so my outlet became sound. Um, so the decision to sort of take a deeper dive into sound in my adult years has really taken me on a completely new journey of self-discovery and possibilities that I would have actually never have imagined before. So during my teenage years and throughout my time at university and beyond, I used to write lyrics. So I was always writing lyrics and I was always writing melodies, and I had the opportunity to work with music producers in studios across London, which was a lot of fun at the time. My mum used to take me. I was like, "Mum, I've got to work with this new producer." She used to take me to these studios, and me and my mum used to go to these talent shows in like Brixton at the time, and I used to sing and meet all these other singers, and it was just amazing time connecting with her, and just it was just so much fun. And I also had the privilege of co-writing songs and recording them. And I was signed to a record contract at one point, but I found them really stifling because they didn't allow me to create the way I wanted to. They wanted me to dress up and do things and sing songs that I had no interest in singing. So my time at the studios was often like, I don't really want to be here, but I do, but I just don't want to do it your way. I want to do it mine. So in the end, yeah, that didn't kind of work out. But again, it was just an amazing experience, just being with music and being around studios. And then I was part of a girl group, and we entered some contests. And I've been in choirs, and I've sang professionally at weddings, funerals, events. I used to play the French horn. I used to play the bass steel pan. So music has pretty much been a massive part of my life. So I've always loved singing, always loved writing lyrics, always loved connecting with other musicians, and just using music as a way of connecting to the divine, God, whatever we individually call it, and just to express my inner world, and also to express love and joy. Because when you're in the studios and when you're creating music, you are just sharing that expression of love and joy of sound. And it really does allow you to access that flow state and that kind of idea of building community. At the time, I didn't realize all this, of course. I was just having fun. um, but now, because sometimes people connect music and sound together, and I suppose you can in a sense, but when you use sound intentionally and music intentionally, it's actually a completely different experience. And now I realize the importance of setting intention for anything I create musically or sound wise. And when I create meditations, and I learned that this now is key to my creative process, so it really is key. um, and it's key when I support others as well. Just really being intentional. What is this piece about? Why am I creating this piece? And what do I want it to, what experience do I want the listener to have from it? And obviously, we're all going to have a different experience from it, but it really allows me to tap into that in a more deeper level than just, oh, I'm just creating this um, and just creating these lyrics for whatever reason. It's actually more of a deeper process now, and it's really a really wonderful way of creating, just creating for creating's sake with an intentional purpose. Yeah. Um, so after a life changing period in my, I decided that I needed to basically create a new start. Um, I needed to do things differently because I kept repeating the same patterns in my relationships, in my friendships, in my work. It was almost like just a circle of just patterns. So um, after my divorce, I decided that it was time to change. Initially, I was going to go back to just doing the same things. Oh, let me find myself a church to go to. Let me go and do. Let me go and find a new home in London. Let me do this. And I said, no, actually, I'm not going to find a new church. I'm going to tap into what do I believe spiritually. I'm not going to go and live in London. I'm going to move out of London. I'm going to find a new home somewhere else. Obviously, my friends thought I was mad. They were like, you've just got a divorce. It's not been easy. How are you going to just move out of London when we're still here? So they were talking about me as like really, really worried about me. Probably thought I was losing it. But actually, I was just like, no, I just want a clean slate. So I found a new home. I requested a work transfer. I and my daughter was very young still. I think she was only about 6 months. And then I found a new school, nursery. We packed up our things. We left London. We moved to the southeast. And everyone was like, yeah. And that was a time where I was forced to go within. So I was forced to really sit with, what is this that I've been doing for the, God knows how many years, 40 odd years of my, what is this? What do I need to do to change? How can I change this? So what did I do? I decided to sign up for a master's, like you do when you're trying to work out your life. Oh, I'll just sign up for a master's in mindfulness and compassion studies. So that's what I did. I signed up for that. And that was the beginning of a completely new journey of kind of looking at ancestral practices, compassion practices, and meditation. So I was spending a whole year meditating and journaling and writing assignments on compassion and on meditation. And then I decided, and this is where the music side kind of changed. I thought, well, why don't I record some of my journaling, what I'm thinking, like my songs, to kind of help heal myself? So one of the first songs I recorded was an affirmation song called I Am. And that was based on my journaling from my meditations at the time. And I thought, okay, I think this could help someone. So I'll share it on Insight Timer, some meditation app I found. So I did. And then I didn't even realize, I kind of left it. I just put it on there. And then I went back to it in the new year and I realized that it had been put in their feature. So like 1 million people had listened to it and left comments, and it was just really a strange experience, and it was really, really powerful. And I just thought, wow, I feel like I want to share music in a more meaningful way that actually supports myself and inner resources me, but also can be of a support to others. And then obviously COVID hit, which is just a whole other story, as you all know. And then as I thought, well, life couldn't really get any worse and it's getting better anyway, then I lost my dad in a road traffic incident. So I thought, oh my God. So it's like, so let's just say the last few years have been very challenging. But I would say that my journey with sound, mindfulness, meditation, and just my spiritual practices has really, really supported me throughout the periods of grief, loss, just helped me to regulate my nervous system. And I've really been able to connect to my intuition and just to release those difficult emotions over time, and just to really express that unconditional love and compassion. And then that's when I just realized things have started to shift, and I really started to gain that sense of inner peace and clarity about my path, and to live my life more intentionally, and to help to transform all those old patterns that I developed into healthier ones. So really to allow myself to kind of really not be afraid to be alone, not be afraid to go within, not be afraid to ask for help. And that is the power of sound. That is the power it can provide if we allow ourselves to use sound to help draw ourselves within. And that was when I first attended a sound bath, actually, during that time. And the lady that kind of did the sound bath was also a psychologist. And she did a sound bath, and then we had a chat afterwards. And we then, then I got to play the bowls. And then I started singing along with them. And she said, well, Andrea, why don't you come and do a meditation with me, a sound bath with me, and you can sing and I can play the bowls. And I was like, well, why not? Just be open-minded. And that's when it really took into another level. So, they say in life, your path is kind of, you don't know where you're going, but it kind of almost seems to just open up. The floodgates seem to open up, and then you kind of, oh, it's becoming clearer and clearer by the day. And that's what started to happen. And that's when I purchased my own bowls and started to find courses for myself to learn so much more about sound and how it could be used in a therapeutic way, how it could be used to help us spiritually, how it could be used to alter states of consciousness. So that's when I really started to dig deeper, and I can be a bit of a nerd. So yeah, I started to spend a lot of time looking at that. So again, I just wanted to open up to see if anyone had any questions or thoughts or anything they'd like to share at this point.
Wow. I just think that is such an amazing story. I mean, I know it's a story of your life, but my goodness, it's powerful. And you've done so many, seem to have done so many things and been so brave and courageous. Where are you? Where are you living now?
So I'm based in Kent now, yeah. So not too far from
Okay.
London. So people get a bit dramatic. My friends are a bit dramatic, I think. But yeah, I'm only in Kent. And the funny thing is, I kind of just took a full circle because I went to university in Kent and I commuted when I was younger. So it wasn't an area I was completely unfamiliar with, although the area I'm living in is unfamiliar. And then I ended up going back to work in the area that I attended university. So that was really, really interesting.
Good.
But yeah, it's been a it's been a
Wow. And
process.
to be able to sing is just, I mean, I can like sing in tune, but I just think the joy of being able to sing must be just so releasing, and just
Yeah.
so, oh, I'd love to be able to sing really well.
But to be fair, I mean, I have in all the courses I've done and exploration I've done and reading I've done, it really the power and benefits you can get from sound and your own voice. Really, I think it's society that makes us think we have to have this amazing voice or we have to have a voice to be able to sing. And I've even had doubts about my voice because there are some people when I used to be in choir that used to sing just they had the most powerful voice, and I used to think, oh, my voice is just really not that good. But then I realized none of it matters. Like
No.
the joy that singing brings us, regardless of your voice, is just amazing. It's just allowing yourself just to do it, just allow yourself to be free with it. Just say, I don't
Yeah.
care what people think. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna let it free. And there are so many different ways in toning and stuff like that that I've heard people do, and they've never been singers, and it's brought me to tears. So it really is about the intention and about just allowing yourself to be free and just allowing your voice to just open up, and
Yeah.
expressing it to the world.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
But you're right. So many people, if I do something with somebody and I get them to try and make a sound, oftentimes they just can't, or they can't allow themselves to just even breathe out with a big ah. So
yeah,
we're so repressed in that way, aren't
yeah,
we? And when we
absolutely.
do, and you've just reminded me, I haven't done that for a while, but I used to do that all the time, toning and I used to just let loads of sound come out.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, you're just reminding me of so many things that I kind of let go of that it
yeah.
can be really helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely helpful in so many ways. So yeah, I just invite people just to try it. Just, especially releasing, especially when you're having a stressful day, just releasing, just making a sound, just whatever sound it may be. When we sound out how we feel, that is a powerful thing to do. It really is. Um,
Yeah.
we just don't realize because it's a way of releasing our, tension and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, sound baths, sound, spending time on ourselves. Sometimes people think that's a bit overindulgent, but no, it's not. I believe I can think it can be an important meditation tool of choice, so we can enter lower brainwave states and maintain that healthy balance and good health. Because I think sometimes we can live in a world where everything is about doing and just not being enough and trying to achieve all the time. So, in my view, we need to reclaim rest. We need to rest. We're not always meant to be productive. We're not always meant to be busy. We actually need time to repair and we need to not feel guilty about this. I mean, this has taken me work and sometimes I still need to work on it, but that's why for me it's a deliberate act. So if I go to any sound bowls or if I choose to sit down with my sound bowls or if I choose to do nothing for an hour or two a day, I actually try just to do that, just to be, just to allow it, because actually it allows ourselves to kind of refresh and be able to come into the world knowing that we are rested and that we are over brimming with enthusiasm to kind of do what we came to do. rather than feeling like, oh, I'm coming here with an empty cup. Someone fill me up. So when we take care of ourselves, we're less likely to overconsume, overproduce. And this offers us the potential just to become more conscious about how we do things, even how we spend, how we buy, just we can be more sustainable with things. And also we can create this a more equitable world, because we know that when we are over consuming, there's always someone who's probably not, not benefiting from that. So when we're invited to replenish ourselves, we also replenish the environment, we replenish the natural world, and we can be mindfully present. And then we're provided with an opportunity to just be more inclusive, more compassionate, and more curious. And we can tap into our inner wisdom and our creative capabilities. So it really is an opportunity to do that. And obviously, the lower brainwave states we can get into, alpha and theta. I'll go a bit more into that, but so we can really access those when we kind of sit with sound, meditate. And there was a few practices in my mindfulness course that we did where we just sat with sound. We allowed ourselves to breathe, we allowed ourselves to be, and we just allowed the sounds to in our environment, because there's sounds always going on in our environment. So we just allowed the sounds to come and go without really focusing on any particular sounds, just allowing the sounds all around us just to come and go, and just noticing it and noticing where we feel it in our bodies. And that was a powerful practice in itself, because sometimes when you're in a sound bath, you hear a siren go past, or you hear, you hear all these cars, you hear people speaking outside if it's on the main roads, and people get a bit distracted. But actually, we can use it as part of the practice. Everything can be part of the practice. Everything can be like, if that sounds agitates you, we can allow it just to be and let it pass and flow by, and then bring our awareness back to the sounds that we are experiencing as part of the sound bath. So everything is a practice to allow ourselves to stay present in the present moment and really ground. Because if you think about it, even in our daily lives when we're trying to focus, there can be unpleasant sounds all around us. So how do we navigate those unpleasant sounds? How can we go inside to kind of allow ourselves to be grounded no matter what is going on around us, no matter what unpleasant experiences we might have? So everything, I'm beginning to realize, is a practice. Everything can be a practice. So cultivating a prolonged state of so sound can be used to put us into an altered state of consciousness. So as I say, during a sound bath, your brainwave activity is likely to slow down, and which helps us to kind of stay in that present moment. And we can enter into like this trance-like rest, and all a trance-like rest means is you're just kind of your consciousness. You've allowed yourself to go inwards, so you've accessed that state of rest within our minds, and our brain kind of slows down. So when we're in that state, it actually allows us to tap into that feeling of unity, to that feeling of openness and gratitude. In actual fact, the list is endless and it's unique to each individual. But as a sound bath facilitator and in my personal practice, I use the crystal singing bowls personally and the chimes to access these slower brainwave states. Through what they call entrainment, which is when powerful vibrations from like a weaker source cause vibrations of another source to lock into it and to be influenced by the vibration of the stronger source. So the vibrational frequency of two objects in contact will frequently fall into sync. So when the frequencies are the same, it's called resonance. So it can be quite a complicated thing to understand. So an example is like in nature. So there's so many examples of it, but in nature, when a leaf is floating through the air, it's a windy day and it's floating. So it doesn't move faster or slower than the wind moving it along. It tends to fly at the same speed as the wind that's blowing. And in this natural process, the leaf is the weaker source because it's lighter, and the wind is a stronger source that it entrains to, so it just flows along with the wind. And there's, they've done studies with clocks where you've got all these pendulum clocks in the same room, they all start, moving at the same time. And even women, when they, you know, they're quite close in terms of their cycles, how their cycles almost lock into sync. So entrainment can be just general in terms of life. Is a big, massive part of nature. So our bodies can entrain to external rhythms, which can be utilized to harmonize and heal our physical and emotional energy field. So that's the way that sound healing works, really. So when you're in a sound bath, that's what's happening. Your body's kind of in training to those more powerful frequencies, the sounds of the bowls and the intention that the practitioner makes when they kind of go into that space. So that's really important to remember. So through being committed to sound healing as a practice, I've learned not to withhold these experiences and allow myself to really tap into it and help others to really kind of tap into their experience of sound. So why sound? Why sound? Why can't you use something else? Well, you can, but for those who find like silence meditation really challenging, and those with a busy mind, well, like I tend to have, sound can be a great anchor to kind of cultivate that real present moment awareness. And through being committed to sound, I've learned not to kind of withhold love as a form of protection, but rather to open my heart. So it's really been an expansive, heart opening experience. And to be able to allow myself to release fear and just embrace that unconditional love for myself and others. So sound healing, including like sacred, intuitive singing. So I tend to just intuitively sing. So sometimes people will hear me sing and it won't even be in what could be seen as English, because it's just sounds that I'm making that have just come to me intuitively. And really, I found that powerful because it means it takes me out of my head. And I like to get a little bit too much in my head at times. So it takes me out of my head and it takes me into my body and it takes me into that space. So I don't have to think about what am I singing? What are the words? What does this mean? I can really feel what it means rather than think about what it means. So that's what the ways I feel it's empowered me and moved me beyond that kind of limitations and conditioning, and just really expanded my awareness and to access that inner healer, because we all have an inner healer. When we go to these things that we go to, sound bath, whatever it may be, it's not that the sound is healing us, it's not that that person is healing us, it's that we are healing ourselves. We are the inner healer. We're just in an environment that is allowing us to access that inner healer. And I see it sort of doing sound baths is a way of me kind of providing that environment for people just to access that inner healer within themselves. So that's why I feel that sound or sound baths or whatever way you choose to use sound is really powerful in that sense, because it just really allows us to access that inner world, access that healer within us. And we don't necessarily have to be unwell in that sense to say, we're accessing a healer, because I think everyone probably has something they need to heal. Just merely because of the fact of the environment that we live in, this world that we live in is so fast paced. It's really important. We all have suffer from stress in some way or shape or form, and some stress can be healthy, but to be able to kind of take that time out and really listen to our bodies, I think that's important for every single person, really, because if we allow ourselves to be an autopilot all the time, it really does impact, I feel, our nervous systems. And I feel like since, lots of things that we've got going on in the world really do impact us more than what we sometimes know. So really to spend that time thinking, why do I feel this way today? We all have days when we feel a bit frazzled. Why am I feeling like this today? What is causing this? What is causing this sense of angst or whatever it may be? We can really tap into that by allowing ourselves to sit with sound and allow it to help us to feel into our bodies, because sound has that way, doesn't it? If we listen to a piece of music, we also, sometimes certain music makes us want to dance. We get up and we start dancing. What is that? And that's part of entrainment as well. That the music is making us want to dance and move to the melodies and the beats of that music. So it's all a part of entrainment again. So it's all of that sort of thing. So that's and it can uplift our mood. So there's just so many ways, but we just don't often know what's happening. So yeah. Has anyone got any questions or any comments at that point?
No, I just, yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I need to put the radio on and dance more, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did on New Year's Eve for like a few hours on on my own, just went crazy in my kitchen, you know, to music, and that can really open me up, you know. And
Absolutely.
yeah, just making prioritizing it really, because it is just so powerful.
Yeah, yes, definitely, definitely. It really
Yeah.
is. It really is. So thank that leads me to the end of this particular presentation. Um, but I was thinking, and obviously, um, Zoom doesn't really allow us to really have our sound all on at the same time and sing together in that sense. That's why it's really nice sometimes to meet in person and do these things. But I was thinking of doing a chant. We can do a chant together. Think, see if I can put it in the chat. Let's see. So this is Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu, and it's an ancient Sanskrit mantra, and it's been used for thousands of years. And what it translates to is, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. I just thought it might be a nice thing for us to chant together. I'll put it into the chat for you. Right, so that's what it says. Right, so what I'll do is I'll just lead us into it. Yeah, and yeah, chant in your head spiritually. Yes, Ava, you can do that definitely. So I'll just lead us into it. So if you just take a few mindful breaths, just really tap into your breath and how you're feeling in this moment. Allow yourself just to really feel into the breath, noticing where you feel the breath the most. Noticing the rise and fall of the abdomen. And on the out breath, just noticing how the body relaxes a little on the out breath. And allowing yourself to give away to that, to the support of the surface beneath you. And as we chant this mantra, just allowing yourself to send it out into the world. Send it to yourself and send it out into the world. Just sending that sense of love out into the world. And I'll start singing, and you can chant it in your head, or you can sing it out loud, and you can stand, you can dance to it, whatever you feel. Just really allow yourself just to feel into it. Just allow yourself just to be. Even if you want to turn off your cameras, that's fine. But I'll sing and just, yeah, sing along. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Thank you all. Just allowing yourself just to sit with that for a moment in silence, just a moment of silence, and notice how you're feeling in this moment. And if you feel cool, just putting your hands to your heart. Just allowing yourself to feel into your heart. Allowing yourself to feel into love. Knowing that you are loved. And knowing that you can allow that love just to be sent out to all of those around you that you impact every single day. Just allowing yourself to sit with that love, just to feel that love, really feel into it. And when you're ready, just invite you back, just gently allow yourself just back to the space and feeling into your body, moving your fingers and your toes a little bit. Thank you all. Thank you so much. That leads me to the end. But would anyone like to share anything? Has anyone got any comments, anything? It's absolutely fine if you haven't.
Thank you. I'm really glad that I could be here. It's the first session I could make at the time, not just see the recording, and I really love singing, so I'm glad that it was this one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, just thank you. Thank you, Rhea.
Thank you. And if anyone needs anything after the session, any tips on any books that you'd like to read on sound and how it works, I have a whole bibliography of that. So anything about that. Also, I have some. I don't know if anyone's on the Insight Timer app. I have some songs on there that you can listen to, and you can find me on Instagram. Any kind of events that I might be doing. So just tap it, just reach out. Anything you might need, just reach out. Any tips on how to best use sound or anything really, just reach out. I'm here. My email's there, or it'd be great to hear from you.
Thank you.
So thank you all.
Abby says that that chant felt like in Avatar.
Ah, yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I would really like everyone to invite to follow Drea, to listen to her songs, chants, meditations on Instagram. Also, of course, on the Summit website, there are all the contact details for Drea. And yeah, please just reach out to her because she's amazing. She's a master healer. Her voice is doing magic, and just I don't even have words. Drea made a healing song for both me and my partner, and it just listen to her voice is the sound bath by itself. So really thank you, Drea, that you spent time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, love you. And I hope we will see each other soon again on other events.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you all so much. It's really been wonderful having you to join me today, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And remember, use your voice.
Absolutely. Use
Love
your
to you all.
love to you all. Bye for now.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
So